Good afternoon, everyone. Like she said, my name is Jayson Ambrose, the son of Jeffrey and Nancy Ambrose I. My topic today is around Thanksgiving and what it means to be thankful, my definition of it. So I feel like when someone is thankful, it's a result of a process that someone went through. So as I go through this, definitely try to follow me and paint the picture, because I'm going to go from just like a tree, from the seed to bearing of fruit. So the biggest or most important seed in life, that I believe is the most important seed in life, is your family. Because with the family, there's many different parts of it that we never even think about. So the F is for finances, A is accomplishments, M is movement or mindset, and you got the I is intelligence, L is legacy, and the Y is for you. Because everything what we do for family is, how can we give the youth a step ahead than where we were in different phases of life? So the most important step in order to make sure that the youth gets to where they are is the mindset. Because with the mindset, like in reality, if you don't change, no one else will change. You know what I mean? If you don't change, you won't change. And that's the reality of it. So when it comes to mindset and movement, and so basically saying that whatever thoughts that you learn from your peers and all that other stuff, like it is good, but at the same time, you have to expand your mindset so you can take your family to a new way of level. But what we find is most people get stuck because there are challenges that come up. And the biggest challenge that comes up is fear. So one of my favorite speakers, his name is Les Brown. He says fear is fake everything appearing real. And when you put it into perspective, it's really what are we fearing moving forward? Because as a kid, we had no fear. Now think about it when you was a toddler. You crawled before you could walk. But you could remember, you probably don't remember because I don't remember, when you first stood up and you was ready to make that first step, you stopped because there was a fear of falling. But then over time as a kid, something clicks in where it's like, listen, I see that food across the table, no matter what, I'm gonna walk over there, and then you find yourself walking as a child. So it's like that's the same thing in life. The overall message from that is you have to take action to cure fear, so you can break the barriers when it comes to expanding your mindset. So talking about action, going back to the process, with your seeds you already have it planted. I don't know who all like plants or have a garden. You have to water it, you have to nourish it. So the biggest question is, are you going to water it with water or with soda? Probably water, right? Because you want to make sure that if this is the investment that you're putting in, you want to make sure you give it the best thing so it can grow and bear good fruit. So that's the same thing with our minds. So with our minds, well, the book that I'm reading, The Magic of Thinking Big, it basically talks about our environments are the food for our minds. So basically put it into perspective, would you feed your mind water or soda? Would you feed your mind a positive environment or an acidic environment? Because in a positive environment, you're always going to be optimistic. You're always looking at the next step, no matter what situation is, you're always looking beyond the situation. You know, you want to keep it positive, and that's going to bleed into your family life as well. But if you're thinking more acidic, and more in acidic environments, now you're kind of stuck. Because you're going to talk yourself give yourself 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't do anything outside of what you already know. And to be honest, how far will you really go with that? How far will your family go? Because going back to the seed, the source of it all, the root of it all, the whole point of family life is to give the youth, something better than what we had. But if you're in an acidic environment, you're stepping down. So you got to think about it. When you feed in your mind with environments, you want to be in them positive environments so you can get that step up. Because then what happens is you get to the process of bearing fruit. So there are two fruits that you bear. One is the happy fruit, and one is being the fulfilled fruit. So we all could relate to happiness. Everything makes you happy. Right now, if Ramsey was to give me $10 to go get lunch, I'd be happy. Because I know I can go buy some lunch, and my wife wouldn't know I spent money on food. She cooked, right? But at the same time, if I lost that money before lunchtime, I'm going to be sad. So you're kind of in that up and down phase of happy inside, so it's more bearable than anything. And it's like, when you look at the grand scheme of things, what I've observed is happiness is correlated to external factors. But imagine being fulfilled, if you use that fulfilled fruit. And what does fulfilled mean? Fulfilled means I am doing every and anything that it takes that makes me me, and genuinely me. I like to read, I like to write, I like to eat, I like to work out, and I'm not changing it. So when you are fulfilled, like you are really grounded, so no matter what happens, like you know what your lane is. Because what is the opposite of fulfillment? Emptiness. Now think about it. There's nothing good with being empty. You don't want the fridge to be empty. You don't want your bank account to be empty. You don't want your house to be empty. So we shouldn't live empty. So the whole goal is to live fulfilled, because when you are fulfilled, you become thankful in whatever situation you are in. So for me, I like to share that process because I experienced it firsthand. So reflecting back on my story in 2010 back in the Bahamas, like my family, that was the worst financial experience we ever experienced. And it got to the point where our lights were off. That was our reality. Every time after we go through a full wave of school, we have to go home. We had the candle lights, we had the flashlights, and we had to eat, we had food and all that good stuff. But it's like, the reality is we had no electricity. We couldn't iron our clothes. So if there ain't no electricity, the fridge wasn't plugged in, so you had a cooler. But that was our reality. But one thing I would say now that I got older, in that moment, my parents set a mood so great that we were fulfilled with everything that was going on, that what was going on wasn't affecting us. Because yes, the light was off, but at least we had a house over our head. Yes, the light was off, but we had food to eat every night. Yes, the light was off, but we also had a candle that we could have. Yes, the light was off, but we had a flashlight, so we don't have to sleep with the candle on that could possibly start a fire. So it's like we started to find so many things to be grateful for that we were fulfilled. We still went to track, we still went to school, clean every day. Nobody would know, but that was our reality when we went home. So that gave me a completely different sense of what does it mean to be thankful. And wrapping up, so that was my story, and I like to share it because it's like my parents did something that it makes sense to me now, but back then it really didn't make sense, because it's like you have to be fulfilled in order to get your real growth. And when you really become fulfilled with whatever you got going on, no matter what happens, you're going to have a genuine sense of thankfulness, and people are going to see that within you as well. So I'd say the process that I went through gave birth to the fruit that you're seeing right now. So that's what makes me genuinely thankful for everything that I have. And I just would like to end with a short poem that kind of wraps up everything. So it says, if I was a tree, where will I be? Maybe in a different country, living in a different city. It takes some time to reroute a root, but rerouting the root may be necessary to bear a more fruitful fruit. The tree where I will be is the place where the tree is genuinely me. Thank you. My name is Jayson.